to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Hey guys. I gotta pick something.
Hey
else.
guys, my name is Cogs Adamswell, and welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast.
If you could have done that without just straight laughing, that would have been the best. But you found yourself too hilarious too early in there.
Oh, I can't help it.
Sean thinks he's a funny boy.
I am a funny boy. You know what? I don't even have to be funny. I entertain myself, so fuck what you guys think.
Man, that's what I told him. I'm like, you got to talk about a keyboard tonight. And he's like, nah, man, fuck you. I ain't doing it.
That's not what I said. I said you can't tell me what to do in all caps.
Yes.
I clearly remember this conversation.
And that's exactly what you said to me.
Adam was reading the subtext of that text message.
Whenever Sean and I text, I just read the subtext. And then I text back things. kind of like our Skyrim conveation earlier. I just read the subtext.
I also ranted real hard. You know what? In hindsight, I brought up many things that you would have no idea what those meant whatsoever.
You're like,
so,
use this, and I'm like, all right.
We'll have this conversation later when I can actually describe it to you, and we're not talking about.
If you need Skyrim add-ons, you go to Chira Jaden.
I guess sure.
You know what else Chira Jaden can provide?
What?
A fantastic review on a new keyboard.
Can I? Is that what I can provide?
Yes.
One of us can.
Yeah, I will say I've gotten. Well, I have a HyperX keyboard right here.
What type of HyperX keyboard?
Fuck, hold on. I don't.
Dom, what type of HyperX keyboard are you using?
Yeah, Dom, exactly what type of HyperX?
It's a mechanical keyboard. I actually don't know the specific model.
Ringing endorsement for the new HyperX keyboard.
Honestly, I'm going to otherwise make a ringing endorsement.
Literally,
I can't remember
and read.
Are there numbers somewhere on it?
Read the bottom of it. The bottom. Come on, guys. There you go. They're picking it up. They're looking at the bottom to get the exact model name.
I can't read.
The Alloy.
I love this keyboard.
I found it. The series.
It is the Alloy series.
The Alloy series, the FPS, Alloy FPS model, I guess is what it
is. There it is. You guys are
good.
Using the HyperX Alloy FPS keyboard sent to us by HyperX.
Did you know that the entire time and you were just making
Yeah, why would you do that to us?
Whatever.
See, I don't know
show.
I don't know the fucking specific names of things, but I do know that this keyboard is the best keyboard I've ever gotten to use.
All right, so
is
first and foremost, just so that you guys out there listening, they have been using these HyperX Alloy FPS mechanical keyboards. You can find those on Amazon for $100 Prime. They come with Cherry MX Blue mechanical switches. They are backlit with a red backlight that does light up and move around and whatnot, but it is a red backlight. Completely, totally. It is a full keyboard. Has all of the function key, or has a function key. Has all the keys on the
actually even set them to do specific things. So I have it light up per key, which is my favorite.
Ooh.
That's also my setting, but you can set
so
it
I can
up
see in the dark, and I can be like, "Fuck, I hit the wrong thing,"
or to just be on, or all kinds of different stuff, which is fun.
So HyperX sent two of those out because I said Dom will put it through the ringer, and Chira has never had a mechanical keyboard, and he would love to
I've
give
never
it a try.
had a mechanical keyboard.
So let's take 5 minutes here real quick. I am dropping frames like mad. So if you're watching live, holy fuck. I might have to kill the live.
What's going on?
Sean has not had a mechanical keyboard. I have another one as well. I was using a DOS keyboard Model S, which I really liked, but I like this one considerably more. From my, the Model S, I had the MX Brown switches, so it was a little quieter. I actually like the clickiness of this one a lot more. My girlfriend often sits in the room next, adjacent to where I play games and work at the keyboard. At first, she didn't think she was going to notice anything. She did notice a difference. Didn't think it was like a big. Didn't really find it like a big deal. Wasn't annoyed or anything. I think she tends to be pretty easygoing about the keyboard sounds that are going on. I really, really like how minimalist this keyboard's design is. I hate having a bunch of extra bullshit thrown on, and that was my big fear when I found out we were getting these gaming mechanical keyboards. I was like, shit, is it even going to fit in my desk? When it's going to go on? Like, obviously the listeners at home can't see it, but I'm holding it up right now. I mean, there's nothing to it. There's not even like a shell going on in between the keys. Despite that, it's really, really heavy. If you needed to, you could use this as a bludgeoning instrument.
I think I brought that up in the past.
You did bring that up, but I wanted to reiterate.
All right. Yeah, I'm a big fan because I've actually been having a bunch of shoulder issues, and I don't know necessarily if it has to do with playing games all the time or whatever, but I actually talked to somebody who's really, really familiar with ergonomic stuff, and the keyboard I was using previously, actually, the numpad section went out way farther than this current keyboard does, and their first suggestion was to actually like get a keyboard that isn't quite as long, and this one is not quite as long compared to that, so that's good too, and that's actually helped my shoulder issue out just a little bit, so I'm actually real happy about that. Otherwise, I fucking love how loud this keyboard is. Like,
I love how mechanical keyboard reviews are. It's loud, and it's
yeah. I mean, like, it was funny because you're always like, yeah, you know, I like the feel of being able to press a key, and you get that like instant, like, hey, I know what I press sort of thing. But I don't know what it is about the keys being louder. I guess it's probably more obnoxious for people that are in the room hearing it, maybe if they don't know what's going on. But it feels like there's just a better feel to it because you get some sort of actual like sound verification that you're doing something rather than just like I'm being as quiet as a mouse while I'm doing this. So I don't know. It's a nice little like tactile.
The ultimate test would be to play a game with you guys and see how many of those clicks go through the voice chat.
I will say,
Adam is the king
use
of clickety-clack keyboard through the voice chat while we play.
As soon as I got this keyboard, my first thought was, well, now I can't fuck around and look at random shit and not pay attention during the show because Adam's gonna call me out for it every time I do it. Then I've like actually
me out for years.
Yeah, it's definitely I've curbed that.
Be very careful. If you need to type in Twitch chat, just be very careful. One key at a time. Treat them gently. That's what I have to do.
Actually, one of the really nice features about this keyboard is that the cord detaches from the back.
Oh, that's super nice.
Every other keyboard you get, or that I've ever had, even my DOS Model S, the cord's just right there in there. You wrap it around. This one comes with a nice little case thing that has a pocket for the cord and back too, which is really nice. It also came in handy the other day. During Monday's show, my dog decided to wander under the desk and somehow got caught up in the keyboard cord. She had probably just stepped over it and it was stuck between her legs, but because I was in the middle of the podcast, I did not know, how to get her unstuck from that. So I just yanked the cable out from the back of the keyboard and then got it put back together. I did have to unhook the USB from behind the tower still and everything, so it didn't seem like it automatically detected if you just detach it from the keyboard. Might have just been a one-time thing as well, but still made it really easy to get my dog out from underneath my goddamn desk.
So overall, to end this endorsement, or I guess it is an endorsement.
I'm a fan.
I did not think that I was like in the market for a new keyboard, but having used this, I'm definitely glad that I have it around. I had my DOS Model S for I've had it for like 5 years at this point. I don't know what the expected lifespan of a keyboard is and everything, but I'm like, now that I know, I'm going to be paying a lot closer to attention to how frequently I look at my keyboards. I'm really, really glad that I have this one. I'm really happy with it.
Awesome. So if you guys are out there and are in the market, HyperX Alloy FPS mechanical keyboard, it is $100, again, using the Cherry MX Blue mechanical keys.
That's cheaper than the Model S was.
Right. And it's an affordable mechanical keyboard. So that endorsement is done. That's it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your keyboards. We should talk some League of Legends now because I think most people have either turned off the podcast or have skipped right past that.
They didn't want to hear me talk about my dog?
No, we will.
The dog is cool, yeah.
I've got other things to talk about, specifically like some reviews and stuff or feedback. We'll do that at the very end of the show after we get done talking. So first and foremost, guys, Ranked hits on December 7th. So that's patch 6.24. If you're in the market to start playing Ranked and you want to jump right in there at the ground floor and just get running, December 7th is the day you can start playing. You will have to you have to do placement games. So solo or
placement
flexio.
games. Yep.
I keep wondering if they're going to
Again.
start patch 7.01 or 7.1, I guess is their convention with this one, since it is the start of the season. But they'll probably save that until 2017.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
Yes.
But so on Monday, I obviously wasn't here, and Dom took over. We had put in the document that there was some jungle change. You know, we've been talking a lot about jungle because that seems to be the biggest. It has the biggest impact on at least early game right now is the jungle because of how the experience works out of it. We spent a lot of podcasts talking about experience. Well, something that you guys briefly touched on Monday that I really kind of want to get into in depth of was the actual jungle experience, specifically the how to start, because right now there is a really unfair advantage when it comes to sides of the map, because the map is unbalanced at this point, because a jungler can start red and then go to Kruggs and hit level 3 before the laners hit 2 or right when the laners are hitting 2. They can already be 3 and walking to lane. So
Yeah, bot lane's probably going to still be level 1 in a lot of cases.
So essentially, so the way it looks is wherever the jungler starts, let's assume he starts red both times, the lane closest to that side, either bot or top, is at a extreme disadvantage because you can't fast push the lane anymore for that quick level 3. You pretty much have to concede your lane until around level 4 or 5, which I think is a pretty big disadvantage.
The more I thought about, and this is all a result of the buff starts, because now instead of starting on a far side of the jungle and then working towards the specific area they want to, or working towards the buff, I should say, and then being in the middle of the jungle and deciding where they wanted to go from there. Now you're starting in the middle and picking the side you want to go to. In practice, you're going to Kruggs and then you're going to either gank top or bot, depending if you're red or blue. But I kind of don't like that the jungle routes have basically pigeonholed on that specific path being, basically the ideal ganking route, or the ideal way for you to assert the most presence in the game. I was a bigger fan, like just in thinking about it, I was a bigger fan of last season where you started Gromp or Kruggs and then you ended up at blue or red, and that from there you decided what you want to do. Did you want to gank? Well, you're ganking either mid or the side lanes, more or less in the
middle of the clear.
But it was more or less equidistant. It was more or less equidistant. Whereas now, like, your decision's basically made for you because you are at Kruggs.
Right. And you don't have to start it, because right now it is blue Wolves Gromp gets you 3. And that's where the disadvantage comes in, that you have to clear that extra camp to get to level 3 on the blue side.
Okay, so first of all, like we knew this was going to happen, right? We knew that there was going to be an ideal jungle path, and now we have it. Probably going to get nerfed because I think they're looking at Kruggs correct?
Yeah, that's what.
Something with Kruggs make it take longer. Whatever they do with Kruggs, this probably isn't going to last too long, right? But the second thing wasn't part of the jungle changes that they want you to gank more. So eventually you're going to hit a point where your jungle is clear and you still need a gank. So that decision making that you had last season is still kind of gone. At some point you're forced to gank.
So that
to a certain point in the jungle.
That goal is very accomplished and everything. Like they definitely encourage you to either gank or focus on counter jungling, and getting counter jungled is it's a very rewarding thing for you to do, and being counter jungled, it's serious penalty. It's a serious penalty. And that is all present and everything. And I think kind of after level 3, things have evened out quite a bit more. It's the whole notion that the jungler is the most powerful. The junglers are the most powerful champions on the map during the first 5 minutes of the game. And that may have always been the case, but now they're the most powerful champions simply by virtue of having higher level. There's no such thing as an item advantage at that stage of the game, but they have a level advantage no matter where they're going. They either have 2 levels on bot lane or 1 level on top and mid. And that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings up what you were talking about earlier, where in top lane you pretty much have to concede the lane, at least early. I'm not sure how much that's going to hurt some champions. Like Nasus doesn't care if you push the lane into him. And maybe, not surprisingly, he's having a lot of success right now. Well, you can push the lane into Nasus all day. He doesn't care.
That's because Nasus is pushing the lane. Actually, Nasus is the aggressor now. He
can push against it, yes. But, he can let somebody push against him at first and go into his tower. And I think that's the kind of the case for a lot of tanks. If we're gonna continue with this tank meta, is that tanks really don't care that much about winning the lane. They just want to farm and become unkillable.
Yeah, it's not even about necessarily winning the lane. It's just like doing well enough in lane that you do your job when the team fights start.
Now, if you're playing against something like Darius and you have to concede the lane to him, then yeah, that could snowball out of control. You could start falling down heavily in CS, but I don't think it's all bad for top lane.
But that's still kind of the point. Is like there are a number of champions where all they need is a little bit of an edge, and the jungler just going up there because that's the most efficient thing to do. Like gives them that edge, and sure. There was nothing you as the opponent later could have done to stop that. Like you were literally at the disadvantage because you were the top laner on
blue side or
on blue side.
You ward earlier, or like I think it was Adam bring this up. You ward the enemy jungle to see when they're taking red and when they're leaving, so that you know when to back off. Well, but yeah, you can't actually take initiative. You just have to.
That's the change.
Play around it
and
play around it.
The big change is bot and top both have new objectives in the early game. Like most people just kind of ran, like the start is run to your jungle entrances and stand there and see if anyone's invading. Maybe ward a bush and river. Well, invades aren't really happening anymore. Not at least I don't see them in solo queue ever. So instead, your goal is now to run in and try to drop a ward at some point where you can figure out where the enemy is starting. Because if you know the enemy's starting blue, then you pretty much all lanes it's a free-for-all. Lanes can do whatever they want at that point. They can play the game how they want. But if they're starting red, somebody, either mid or top or bot or both, have to concede their lane early. And it's not fun to play against that because, yeah, like you said, you can't do anything about it, right? Like the only thing you can do is scout it out and then just hope he doesn't come up there and then try to play around potentially being zoned out. Because like you give an edge to Darius early, he hits 2 before you. He then zoned you off an entire wave just because he was able to get 2, just before you.
I mean, he zones you off a wave, and if you're somebody who isn't used to playing against Darius and you don't realize that like you're at that big of a disadvantage, and then you go in and you die to him, you're pretty screwed for the rest of the lane. Like that, you may as well just not show back up the lane because he's gonna kill you whenever he feels like it. Like, and I've been seeing like that exact situation happening a lot lately. Oh, yeah. Not necessarily just with Darius, but like I don't know what it is. People just disrespect other people's power spikes left and right. It doesn't matter. Like I've been seeing it in Platinum like crazy. You'll get a Nasus who thinks he can just push into a Darius all day with maxing E, and he's like, oh yeah, it's cool, I can farm, no problem, maxing E. 26 minutes, he has 60 stacks on his Q because like the jungler went up there once. Darius already had the advantage. He killed him, and next thing you know, like whenever they feel like it, even if let's say our jungler showed up, like I was playing the jungle in one of those games, like even if I was up there, I am not stopping them from fucking you under the turret. Like they're that ahead right now. Especially I've been seeing a lot with like Kha'Zix snowballing, especially like starting with that red start, getting 3, and then just can immediately go bot. And if he can pick up 1 kill off that, he just keeps rolling that into other kills. Like you have to be way more aware of what's going on, because if you end up getting caught out like in the 2v1 early now, and the jungler is up a level on you, you're dead to rights. Like you're done.
In the current state of top lane, I'm looking at like the winningest champions, and Maokai is about the only one I look at and think, okay, I'm not too worried if he gets an early kill. I can deal with that just because of the nature of the rest of his kit. He's going to become unkillable, but everybody else, like he was becoming unkillable at level 6 pretty much no matter what. Relative to that stage of the game. Everybody else, them becoming unkillable quickly really screws with the way your team has to start handling objectives, and or being mindful of teleport ganks, like for the rest of, early mid laning phase. I'm sorry, mid to late laning, and then the mid game. Like it totally warps the way the rest of your team has to do stuff, because they just become those unkillable fucking monsters.
It's
and the rest of them don't get as unkillable as quickly as Maokai would, like no matter what happens. Maokai just has to hit 6.
It's interesting you say that, because I've been playing a bit with I I play quite a bit with Whale and Bao, but like I played probably for 3 or 4 days with Bao where all he was playing was Maokai, and he was 4v1ing the enemy team and killing them.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, not at the start of the game.
I mean, this was at like 32 minutes.
Sure,
like,
that's just Maokai, though.
But
That's
even
Maokai,
still,
30,
like that shouldn't be okay. Either you're a tank, you shouldn't
Yes.
like.
Preach,
It's not okay.
No more
for you
tanks.
to be able to 4v1 as a tank.
No more tanks.
I do like playing tanks, but I like playing bruisers more, and like that should be the bruiser role. Like that is the whatever warrior, if you want to call it fighter or anything, whatever they end up rebranding it to, Juggernaut, whatever. Fuck, I guess Juggernaut. It'll always be a bruiser to me. But like that is supposed to be the role that like you get tanky, and if you get ahead, you can kill a lot of people. But you're talking about a dude who just builds defensive, can get a Thornmail, and is doing enough percentage health damage that he doesn't die quickly enough for them to burst him down. And between his passive heal, he gets like a sixth of his total health back for just auto attacking for his enemies using abilities.
That's just a Maokai problem.
Yeah, but I mean,
Don't forget
that's
Colossus.
yeah, that's true. But like, what we were in that game the other day where that Darius got a really, really big lead playing against the
Darius
Singe.
won the game. Like the Darius won the game because despite the rest of us doing things really well and doing what we were supposed to, that Darius was so far ahead that all the team had to do, all the opponent team had to do was buy enough time for Darius to either walk to the fight or on the off chance cooldown or teleport was up.
Well, it
wasn't that.
It wasn't even that. It's if we ended up getting into any sort of sparring match with the Darius involved and he hooked anybody, we couldn't do enough damage to even get through the Courage of Colossus shield.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
not
starting
okay
to
either.
wonder if a longer term solution is making it so that shields are not affected by resistances.
What? So it's just like a raw, like
health.
Either
Yeah.
you bump
true
up and
damage
maybe
to the
you
shield.
maybe you bump up the amount of health that shields have, or you keep it where it is and they shields only take a percentage of the incoming damage. But because shields are always going to be like you in theory you want to use them on carries and everything to keep them alive, but shields are actually always going to be more valuable on the tanks because tanks are building a shit ton of resistances. So in addition to how hard people already have to commit to trying to take down a tank, then a shield on top of that, just makes them like really unkillable. That's the problem with Courage of the Colossus.
Didn't WoW do something like that at one point where they made shields only? It was that they didn't take. I could have sworn there was a game that I played that they did that, and I don't remember the outcome.
Work
of it.
or not work? Okay, so you don't.
I mean, if it was WoW, they may have changed. I don't remember. I remember hearing that before. I remember seeing it before, and I remember it working. But there has to be a reason as to why.
I don't think it was WoW because during whatever expansion it was, they just removed resistances as a whole. So the only thing that you would be able to like compare to that as a stat, like it's not like tanks were amassing spell power to make their shield stronger, So I don't know exactly how that interaction would work, but I could be wrong.
Well, it'd be the same as it is in League. If what the hell? I don't even know who put shields on in WoW anymore. Was it priests?
Priests.
Yeah, priests.
Yep.
If priest put a shield on a warrior, is the shield that is on the warrior affected by the armor stat?
No, it was the amount
that
the amount that the shield blocked was based on the casters.
It's based on their spell power.
Yeah.
I mean, does that? I don't know. I
no,
wonder
because
if
there wouldn't be anything
I'm saying,
on the yeah.
I'm saying, does that make more sense for League at this point, given that, in theory, your shields are more valuable on a tank. Like, you're trying to save carries and everything, and I get that, but in theory, your shield actually has, like, a longer life on that tank and everything.
Especially if you can front load the damage on the tank, because, if you can get them to pop a whole lot of stuff on the tank who already has way more resistances with the shield on them as well, you block, a quarter more damage for it.
Is the question actually, is there a power creep somewhere with either from resistances or the way there are pieces of Juggernaut's kits? Is there a power creep through what they have compared to what the enemy? So, for example, bottom lane.
I think it's Courage of the Colossus.
Well, okay.
I think it's Courage of the Colossus, but I mean, I would also say lethality factors into it a little bit too.
That factors a ton into it. Well, because my question, the reason I phrase the question the way I do is because mid lane and bottom lane, for example, aren't getting a lot of damage until probably about 20 minutes into the game, unless they're getting fed. If we're just talking a normal game, maybe one kill, like you're building umbrellas in mid, right, or whatever it may be, and then you're building bottom lane, you're doing your BF sword into Hurricane, so the bulk of your damage is just raw AD with no penetration. So the removing of maybe they just need to rework the lethality stat instead of working how shields, changing how shields work. Maybe it's time that we get stats in the game that only affect certain styles of characters, right? And then I mean that becomes like this gigantic not balloon, but this like gigantic prop. I don't want to say props.
Well, I mean, there's
just so many different types of creatures and classifications and figuring out how you are giving, different people what.
I don't know if trying to solve like a complexity issue gets better from adding more variables.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say.
Complexity issue, like, I don't necessarily think that's probably the right thing.
It becomes an arms race at that point. You create something else to overcome what's powerful now, and then that becomes too powerful. You have to introduce another thing to be that thing. And it just snowballs from there.
I mean, we all know Courage of the Colossus is really powerful. That's been stated ad nauseum. The reason it drew my attention to shields, I guess, is because very few tanks were really getting shields. If they had it, it was something like Scion, where you got it up and you were, it was extra durability and everything, but it was a calculated thing that you were doing. Now all of a sudden, like, tanks are just getting them, and that's why I'm like, if they want to keep Courage of the Colossus in the game, kind of almost in general, like they have nerfs on the PvE, but I think it's still going to be
the number on the mastery, or is it shields themselves? Is that kind of what you're saying? It's like, is it the mastery yourself? Is the mastery itself the size of the shield, or is it how shields work on tanks?
So the former is very obviously a problem, but I'm starting to work.
Which they're addressing.
I'm starting to think that the latter is the underlying issue, that shields are always going to be good on tanks, and now that so many of the tanks get shields when they used to not. A handful did. Scion, Poppy, sometimes. That type of thing. A handful, Malphite, started with one, but now that all the tanks, irrespective of what they were doing, are getting this shield, like, I'm starting to wonder if there actually is an underlying issue with the way shields and the way they interact with armor.
It's probably
resistances.
It's probably just the way Courage is. I think we wouldn't be having this discussion. We wouldn't be having this discussion if it wasn't for Courage of the Colossus, right? So it's just the one shield that the tanks are getting. We're not bitching about Janna putting a shield on somebody or Morgana Black Shield stopping magic damage or whatever it may be. Yeah, right. There's not enough shields. I mean, even a luck shield doesn't seem like quite enough to bitch about. It's just Courage of Colossus is based
quite as intimidating.
Courage of Colossus just needs to be based off of the number of people hit rather than the number of people that you're around, or it needs to be based off of who you hit as how much shield you're getting, like a percentage of the max life of some stupid formula. I don't know, but right now it's just if you grab one person and there's 5 people around you, you get that full max shield, and that's too much.
That's interesting, because if you do it by the number of people you hit with your CC, like a full Sejuani ult, right, then you don't need a huge shield because nobody's attacking.
They wouldn't hit you anyway.
That's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now, maybe that's still just the right solution. Maybe they add another second to the duration so you get some love from it, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
If anything, the way that it's set up now is like, hey, you get a giant shield for taking the risk of going through a team to CC somebody in the middle of a squad.
And that's fine, and I definitely think that's way, way, way cooler than Strength of the Ages, which is also influencing the way the jungle works now.
Strength of the Ages it was boring. Like, you never.
Yeah, it was a really good mastery, but it encouraged them to just, farm until they were too big to fail.
Until they got free stats for it.
Yeah,
forever.
It was a cool mastery, but unlike all of the rest of the masteries that were there, you never got the instant gratification of using that mastery because it was you passively gained power.
You didn't see, like, it wasn't.
Well, that's
you didn't get to see the effects, like the good job kudos that you get for, like, oh, hey, I just got this giant ass shield, I must have done something okay to do that, right? Like, it was just, oh yeah, how did I end up with this 300 extra health? whatever, that's great. Like, it's 38 minutes in the game, and that's noticeable.
Just as an aside, I think it's funny that they were so opposed to Sona's auras giving passive resistances, and then they reworked her and everything to get away from that, and then they added Windspeaker's Blessing into the game, which gives passive resistances for taking a different action. Yeah, it's fine because all of the shielders and healers can use that, so it's a non-issue in that regard. I think it's still I think it's an overpowered mastery, but nobody's ever talking about it, so go me. Well, but I do think it's funny they changed things that way.
Passive resistances or passive anything is never going to receive the full praise that it deserves, no matter which way you cut it. Because we can go all the way back to the original RPG of D&D, right? The one I can think of is like Paladins. You gain, what is it? You gain 5e. They have the protection aura, and you gained the extra on your save, an extra
just
extra
for standing around them.
For just standing around them, or even better, you can't be feared when standing around it. Yeah. Well, no one realizes that you have that until you tell your party that you have that, because you can't look at everybody's character sheet all the time. You don't have that information in front of you. So, like, in the game, if I can go, hey, Twitch, you now have extra attack damage when I use my Q. No Twitch realizes they have that on, when Sony uses the Q, most Twitches don't realize they get that extra attack damage or whatever it may be. So, none of those auras are ever going to be fully appreciated, no matter how good they are.
Shut up and heal me, healer. I'm killing people.
So. There are a number of times where I've shouted at my AD carry, okay, you're fast. Start shooting things. Shoot as much as you can. You're fast.
I need that. Like, the only time that I know that I'm fast is if you pop Righteous Glory, or if you pop something that has like a gigantic, huge speed boost, particles, right? But with so much going on in a team fight, if you're popping Righteous Glory in the middle of a team fight, I don't know if to run at them unless Dom is like, I've made you a fast boy. Run really fast. That type of thing.
Shoot really fast. I do think, I'm in general, like, pretty on board with them getting rid of all the passive stats. As nice as it was to have Aegis and get and the MR aura from that, it's just the type of stuff that people don't appreciate, and then opponents are like, oh, hey, look, I'm not hitting as hard as I think I should be because someone else is standing there, and wow, what can I do about that? It's not like their lane opponent made a deliberate decision to itemize against them. It was somebody else did the thing that they were supposed to do every game, and you, the mid laner playing a mage, you got punished for it.
I do think
there's, like, that's probably the reason why so many of the just big bursty mages are doing so well right now, is just the overall, the per game reduction in MR right now is letting them kill shit.
Well, I do notice Lulu, though, Dom. Like, if you pop that Lulu shield and somebody instead of polymorphing, that's the trade-off, right? It's polymorph or speeding, or...
It's polymorph or attack speed, move speed, steroid.
Right. I do notice the attack speed steroid, because it's enough to notice. If you pop it on Caitlyn or something, it's awesome. I'm like, I got this now, and I'm I can feel myself shooting faster. We talked
about that on Monday. Like, Mitch didn't even know. He had completely forgotten that they added attack speed to it, and he suspected that was widely the case. I don't think the other guys... I think Santana didn't know. I can't remember if Kargan knew or not. But
you don't see Lulu support very much anymore. You should.
Playing her. I like her a lot right now. I think she's really good. She's also really good in like a diver meta, because you can.
Oh yeah.
You can prop up your carry, and also, if you need to
help the initiate, or you can counter engage when they dive on you.
I wonder if people aren't playing Lulu support because of Karma. Because Karma, like Lulu's support when she first came out was the pokey support, and the others, they're similar in what they do. They shield and they poke and they prop up the team in one way or the other. But like Karma just does the poking battle better than Lulu does, and I think that because of the poke and the lane pressure, it overshadows what Lulu's able to bring. But the problem with Lulu is if you increase any of that, she becomes a mid laner or a top laner again.
Yeah, I mean, she's not being played mid or top anymore. When she does get played, it is pretty much exclusively support at this point. I think it's more... I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that it could be. I mean, they touched it on Monday. I think she got nerfed in so many other areas so much because of being prominent in mid and top that she kind of just feels underwhelming in bot. I don't think she feels underwhelming anymore. I think you just don't go in with the expectation that you're going to be poking and pushing pushing people out of lane with it. You want to take her because you're running a heavy objective focused game, because the attack speed steroid on Whimsy makes taking early towers a lot easier. And then the attack speed steroid and the bonus damage from help picks make taking things like Dragon or, if you must, the Rift Herald. Who was in the game with me the other day? I think it was just Mitch and Benson, where somebody took the Rift Herald and I said, I forgot that thing was in this game.
Yeah, I know. Some people take it and I hear it go off. I'm like, anytime someone takes a Rift Herald, I go, God damn it! Now they have an objective, and then I forget. All right, cool.
But no, it's like an extra BF sword worth of damage just from picks at level 3 or 4 or something like that. So it's that's significant, especially combined with the attack speed steroid. You can take some of those early objectives a lot faster with Lulu.
Has her
that's the
ability
reason you want to run her?
Has her ability scaling or skill order changed in that case? Because what you described is how I used to play Lulu, right? The lane bully, and from what Adam brought up with Karma, if Karma's just a strictly better lane bully, then yeah, I can see why Lulu would fall off. But if you're saying Lulu's playstyle was kind of changed a bit, so that you're not picking her to just dominate the lane, does that mean she's not leveling Q first, and she's better off leveling the things that would protect / proper for AD carry and W and E?
You're still taking Q because you need to. You got to keep the opponent honest. You can make an argument to take E and or even level up W more. If the opponent jungler is spending a lot of time camping your lane, those are going to be the things that help keep your carry alive and or get one or both of you out of trouble. But if everything is pretty much normal and equal, then Q is the way to go.
Yeah, Karma just has more options than Lulu does with less punishment, right? Because you can mantra E your entire team, but you can still slow somebody with W. Unlike Lulu, who you have to choose either to speed up polymorph or shield or do damage, or that's it. Shield, do damage, polymorph, or shield or speed up.
Yeah, Karma is more straightforward at this point. Aside from deciding how you want to use mantra, Karma's it's pretty much, okay, I'm using Q to poke, I'm using Q to slow, just deal damage, whatever it is. I'm using a shield to absorb damage, speed up if I need to, but mostly, absorb damage. And then W is like, hey, let's try to root somebody. Or unless an invisible champion's in the game, then it's tag them with that so they can't get away.
But talk about how much fun it is to play against tank Karma, who you play against in top lane. And as a full tank Maokai, I cannot escape because he just spams W on me while Jin slowly walks up like, I'm coming, Karma, I'm coming to kill that Maokai. I'm like, please no, please let me go back to base. And Karma's like, nope.
I can say I've never seen that situation ever, but it sounds terrible.
You can thank Chakrez for that one. You can thank Chakrez. He single-handedly popularized
Courage of the Colossus Karma.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, that's what it was.
You W.
I hated every second of it.
You W, you get the shield. You empower W and you heal while you get the shield.
You want to see a wet noodle fight? That's Tank Karma versus Maokai in top lane. Oh man, those trades lasted forever. Forever.
At some point, you both just concede not to trade anymore, and you just farm.
Well, at that point, fucking Maokai could probably just CS while Karma's slapping abilities at him and just heal off autos from his passive. So
fun times. This is what the tank meta is. I hate it with a
Hey, Punch. You remember when we first met and the tank meta was in full force, and I hated every second of it?
Yes.
Welcome to top lane, buddy.
Well, you were also playing top back then too. That's funny.
Welcome to top lane, buddy. It was the worst thing ever. It was so boring. Every fives game, they're like, play Maokai, and I'm like, I don't want.
I love Sandy carry. It's like, yeah, play someone that protects me. No, no, please.
What was the next?
You just gotta you gotta find more fun top laners to play so that you can.
He already has Kled.
Tank top laners. Yeah, I'll work on that.
Oh fuck that! You play.
You took Courage of the Colossus on Kled.
Nah, you gotta learn yourself some.
How is that going for you?
I gotta keep. That requires more experimentation. I think Kled may be more of a late game tank, and I don't know if that's any good right now.
I don't think he's even a late game tank. The last time I played, The last time I played against a Kled, he dominated early, and then he couldn't do anything late game. He gets his 4 attacks off, and he's like, "Well, that's all I can do."
Yeah.
He
can be
seems to
sneaky
have
good game.
he kind of has that Riven syndrome where if he gets off to a head start early, like he does really, really well, but as soon as like team fights start to roll through, it's just like, yeah, not quite as scary.
If you build full tank and then have a black lever as your offensive item, then you've got
Like any other bruiser in the
and
top.
very difficult for an AD carry to escape him because he's so sticky.
Yeah.
But that's really
But who else is he killing?
Tank.
Yeah.
Right.
Who else is he killing?
Nobody. That's it.
W lets him do damage, but taking AD carry out of a fight is pretty significant. I don't know. It's. I'm not saying this is a meta pick here.
Okay.
It's niche.
I agree with you. There are a lot of champions that can also kill the AD carry, and they don't have to work nearly so hard to do it.
Like Olaf.
Yeah, right. Like Olaf.
Not even Olaf. Like fucking Shyvana.
Well, I was gonna.
Explaining how tanklet works.
I wanted to talk about Fearless, the Mastery Fearless versus the Mastery Insight. I meant to put this in the document, Dom. I'm sorry we're not going through the document this evening. I always feel like I let Dom down when he makes this beautiful looking document. And I'm like, I throw it out the window. Like, I open the window, I look at him, and I just fucking toss it while still staring at him. I'm like, it's gone. See ya.
You were looking to the side this time.
I was looking at you. I was looking at you, Dom. In this scenario, you were sitting at a chair with a beer.
In this scenario, I wasn't sitting right in front of you.
And
like
what I did
now.
was I slapped the beer out of your hand. I grabbed your document and I threw it out the window, and you just sat there like, what the fuck?
That's exactly what I would do.
Why did you spill
Honestly,
my beer?
Yeah, that's what I would be more insulted about. Like, okay, the document, and I don't know why you're throwing your computer monitor out the window. That's weird.
Or better yet,
but,
Dom is sitting there with a beer, and I grab his document, throw it out the window, and then I grab his beer and I chug it and put it back in his hand when I'm done and walk away.
See, now you're just a monster.
Oh yeah.
Did you look at the explosion too when you walked away?
There was no explosion. Unless by explosion you mean you're going like
Explosion
Super
in my
Saiyan.
There was an explosion in my heart.
I'm sorry, Dom. Okay, so Fearless, the Fearless versus Insight. Statistics are actually showing that Fearless is performing better out of the top lane than Insight is. So what Fearless is, it is your tier 1, 2, 3, 4 mastery, where you gain 10% plus 2 per level bonus armor and magic resist when damaged by an enemy champion for 2 seconds. Now, speaking of tanks with Courage the Colossus, Insight reduces the cooldown of summoner spells by 15%. Statistics, actually, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm sorry, but Fearless is actually performing better as the game goes on because there's more opportunities to use that mastery. I mean, it's just performing better pretty much throughout the entirety of the game, just based on the meta out of top lane with Courage the Colossus.
And 10% of 150 is better than 10% of 30.
It's pretty good.
Or 15% of 5 minutes.
Yeah, whatever.
Because it reduces teleport time. But I don't know if you've noticed, Punch, but teleport, you get one teleport back to lane early, one good teleport during lane, and then you pretty much save teleport. Lucky. Right, if you're lucky. Then you pretty much just hold on to teleport until win.
Exactly. The shorter cooldown doesn't matter unless you're using that summoner spell as soon as it comes off cooldown. So I can definitely see why the 10% armor in a tank meta would be a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know why tanks are taking Insight.
Not taking it.
They don't.
It's habit.
Taking Insight.
People have been taking it for so long, the entirety of last season, and I can't.
I'm recalling correctly.
Even
in those cases, Perseverance was still better for. I never checked the stats on it, but I recall seeing that showing up a lot in highest win percent masteries.
Yeah, well, I just want to throw that out there for any of you playing top lane, that you should likely change your mastery pages to ditch Insight and start picking up Fearless on most, if not all, champions that are going that far down in the resolve tree, because getting 10% of your bonus armor magic resist is quite a bit. Plus 2 per level. I mean, you're getting 36.
Oh, there's a shit ton of free resistances in the resolve tree nowadays.
A shit ton?
What
would a metric shit ton be?
More than what's in there now.
What's less than a shit ton? Just a ton?
Less than what's in there now.
Well, no, I'm trying to figure out like the classification of
A shit ton is a ton of shit out of it. Doesn't matter how you fucking
You're overthinking
What is the question here?
but a ton is a ton. I mean, that's what it is. What's a shit ton? Does that just mean it's a ton of shit?
It's a ton of shit. Yes, that is exactly what it fucking means.
I feel like
Thank
I'm having
you
a
for
conversation
taking
with my
a minute and a
7-year-old.
half to get to the consensus for this answer.
That we all
that
knew
was such
going
a
into
fucking
it.
beautiful waste of time. Can we please do it again?
Yes, absolutely, we could. Fervor still sucks ass. It's terrible.
They're buffing
Yeah,
it.
It's a fucking
on the
awful
PvE.
mastery. Please don't use it right now.
Buffed on the PvE.
Fucking terrible. Thunderlords is still pretty goddamn good.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Warlords because it feels really boring to use, and I never appreciate it.
I mean,
Ever.
it's always felt boring to use, but like at the same time, man, I've lived a lot of times just from Overlords that I should
playing like Aatrox and
Sean has never really played meta anything. I think he played Swain at the end of the meta. No, it was Sean was messaging me about Fiora at one point. Like Fiora has been nerfed, not nerfed from.
No,
season
I said
whatever
I'm gonna start picking her up, and,
And
that
he
was
never
like
fucking
3 or 4
plays her.
weeks
He
ago.
just goes right
I
back to
played her.
Swain
I
the
played her
Blood Man.
twice, 3 times. I did great in every one of those games. Like got ahead like crazy.
You played
couldn't carry.
more Akali than you've played Fiora.
That's it.
That's true. That's I don't know what I'm doing on Akali. Can't stop winning.
Sean, you can just
Let's
remove
go.
from Akali.
It's a good problem to have.
What was that?
You can just remove the 2 words from Akali in that sentence, and it would fit you perfectly. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. I don't know what I'm doing, but whatever.
Sean.
You can't stop the win train.
Sean,
Let's
Just keep
go.
winning.
I need you to play
Just keep
Singed.
winning.
I need everybody to play
See,
Singed.
all right. Adam really
Why?
wants me to play Singed.
Why?
Well, okay,
us with the
here,
Singed.
I'll tell you guys why, and this is for all the listeners too. I think Singed is a fantastic champion that most people probably shouldn't play. Okay, like I said, everyone should start playing Nasus, but I think Singed is fucking awesome. I've been watching Singed 420 play. He's like a Diamond 2, Diamond 1 Singed player who streams during the day because I don't like to watch Dyrus, so I just pick some random person and I found him and he cracks me up. And
but Dyrus loves Singed out.
right. And he plays the normal proxy Singed, but he starts at level 1 proxy. And then after that, he kind of stays in lane and he trades really effectively with his W, flinging him into it. And, and eventually he's in the base doing both the waves. And I'm just like, I want more. And he can be 0-6 and he's still in their fucking base farming the waves. And he's winning games. And I'm like, this is amazing. I love it. But there is a science to how you have to play proxy Singed properly. So if you're like looking to do that, you should probably go watch this guy.
There's a science.
No, you don't want Sean to play champions that he actually has to think stuff out for. Sean is best on the
not really
champions that
thinking,
it's
though.
just instinct. Like it's just instinct.
That's what it is, though. It is instinct. Sean doesn't have to think. Sean just
there's
starts,
way.
and then
That's not true at all. Like
then he goes.
Singed is a character that like you need to know Singed really, 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 really well to make him work as you climb with him, because like he's pretty different in the way you have to play him in comparison to a lot of other champions. It's the difference between like a run at you champion, like, well, I'm going to use Olaf because I play a lot of Olaf, like a run at you champion like Olaf, to a run away from you but still stay close enough to you to be just tauntingly there as a target. That's Singed, like, knowing when to turn around and flip people, and
Blood Gulch,
it's way more involved.
Blood Gulch in chat summed this up perfectly, and it's exactly what I was trying to get at. Is that it looks extremely easy to play Singed, but it's
not.
actually really hard to play him. You have to be focused on the map the entire time, where everybody's at and what you are doing by creating this pressure. And the people playing with Singed have to know how to play with him because he's creating pressure in other areas of the map. And even then, like you said, like the running at you, the understanding how W works, the flinging, all that kind of stuff. Like if you fuck one of those up, you fuck up your trades.
It's not just the flinging. It's like the flinging and knowing that if you auto attack, if like you click on somebody's character model in the middle of the sky while you're throwing them, you can get an extra auto attack off. Like that's a nice little advanced interaction that if you don't have the practice,
to take the hybrid pen runes because
well, at one point people were building Sheen on him right off the bat, so you could get the fling instant Sheen proc, so you get more damage out of it. Like he's way more advanced than people give him credit for somebody that's like, oh no, you just run through teams.
Yeah, for somebody that looks like you just run around, you're working hard to just run around.
You are running around, but like you're running with the purpose. You're running the marathon of trying to win the game rather than just running to run.
Yeah. That's why I said I don't want people to go out and play Singe, but he's actually really, really good right now.
If you know what you're doing, you can make him work.
But I hate that. I hate that. I hate the... If you know what you're doing,
that's
you
a
make
lot
it work.
of champions, Adam.
That's
That's
every
like most
fucking
of them.
champion.
Yeah.
Just like Urgot. By the way, Champion Select Podcast, $10 a month, patreon.com/DForce Network. We have Urgot on the Champion
Yeah, for all
Select
you
Podcast.
Urgot's
fucking
coming.
Poppy lovers.
No, he's already...
Poppy.
Oh, he'll be out next month. Sorry, he's going to be out in December.
Yeah.
Yes, but Poppy...
There was actually...
when they're
I talked
listening
a
to
couple-
this,
they're very
it'll be-
excited for
it'll be this
Poppy.
month.
Very excited for Poppy.
Who's excited for Poppy?
A bunch of people. I don't understand. Like, you know what? Fucking send me a message or something. Why do people love Poppy so much?
Well, I think part of it is because Optimus Tom hated her so
No.
much.
In that community, yes.
Yeah, but that's
that's going to be who
Well, remove our beautiful friend Optimus Tom from the equation and his hatred of Poppy. Remove that. Like, I don't understand why so many people are like, yeah, Poppy's my favorite champion. I'm a Poppy main. And like they just gravitate toward that. Like I can understand a bunch of other champion love
Are you
for
talking
whatever.
before or after the rework?
Yes. Well, one thing that applies to both. One thing that applies to before and after is that you can still shove somebody into a wall and then punch them in the face, and that feels very
that's
gratifying.
fun.
She's
I guess
rewarding.
Before, people liked to main her because she was such an unpopular, underplayed champion. She never got played in competitive. That's why everybody
Yeah.
And that's why everybody freaked out when like Unicorns of Love broke her out. Just because it was crazy seeing shit like that happen. But that's why everybody was doing it before the rework. After the rework, she was really good, and that's why people liked her. Also, that hammer is fun. It's fun to get hit by the hammer. Like I laugh every single time I get knocked. Like I get knocked super far back. I think it's hilarious.
It's just like a thing for me where I'm just not super interested in playing that champion, so it just amazes me that like they're like I will say the people
interested in things that you
I'm not fucking debating that. I 100% believe that.
Hey,
but it's
what?
You know how fucking dare you interrupt me?
Yeah, no, I'm interrupting you.
No, how fucking dare you?
No. I'm done with your conversation. Hey, Pudge, when you're playing Poppy, do you hammer the ground when you're running away from somebody to cause them to take more damage?
Of course. So come at me, bro. There's a slow ground right there.
That's why.
That's silly of them.
Yes.
You should do that, Poppy players. Hammer the ground. Always be hammering the ground. You don't want them say you can't stand here. Yes.
She does two hammerings.
Yes. Well, lots of hammering. The Q hammer.
The Q hammer.
Sean.
Yes.
What's up?
You don't talk enough, and I interrupted you. I'm sorry, pal.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit. Like I don't want to have this conversation with you right now.
I love you, buddy. You're my favorite.
Mean to me. No, go fuck yourself.
You're my second favorite. You know what we should do, because we've been talking a lot? We should probably answer a couple listener questions, because it's been a bit since we've gone.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
We haven't forgotten about you.
But you know who else we haven't forgotten about is
the
people out there in podcast land who are leaving us reviews on iTunes, because I really
I thought you were gonna just completely not even bring this up this episode, and I'm proud of you for coming back to it.
Yeah, I told you guys. I said near the end of the episode, while we're still talking League, I was gonna bring this up. I'm trying to like find a good medium. I know the HyperX shit took up 10 minutes of the beginning of the podcast.
Trying to restructure how we do some things.
I'm trying. Yeah, I want to toss some stuff in the middle. I want to toss some stuff at the end. I want to toss in the beginning. I'm actually probably going to start playing like a Patreon ads when I never have to talk about it again before the show even starts. Like I want to restructure the podcast now that we're in episode 400. Right? It only took 400 episodes to get to this point. Also, not being lazy helps. Damas inspired me with his document.
Out of all of the conversations I've tried to have with you to fucking up your motivation, Dom doing the documents was the fucking the shovel that needed to be handed to you to get that dirt moving.
No, I'm lying, but
I quit.
So Wonton Skullduggery. There's no E in it, but that's your name. Give us a 5-star review.
Skullduggery or Skulldudgery?
Skulldudgery.
Who cares? Skullduggery. Let's go with it.
Wonton. He says here.
I think it's wanton.
I'm going to call him Wonton because I want some soup. Top-notch
Wow.
podcast. I've been listening for like 2 years, and the content and atmosphere of the show keeps me interested in wanting another episode. If you're a longtime League of Legends player, a newbie, or you play Heroes of the Storm, Dungeons & Dragons, whatever, Trinity Force has awesome, funny, real people talking about your games, bringing you helpful content that they take it seriously. Definitely worth checking out.
That was way too nice.
Yeah, I don't.
What are you doing, Wonton?
If you want to leave us a 5-star review, but call us a bunch of shitlords that eat tons of shit,
I appreciate that much better.
you could put that up there. I don't. Yeah, Rage writes, great podcast, a bit meandering at times. Now
that feels accurate.
That feels accurate.
That seems correct.
That's
5 stars, but that one's correct. Spencer, love the podcast. Keep it up, guys. And Mickey B. I have learned a lot from these guys. My league play has become much more fun after subscribing to the Trinity Force podcast and downloading their Discord. I've met many like-minded players. Keep up the great work.
Discord's a happening place.
The Discord's been popping off lately. I'm very happy.
All of the discussion that used to happen in Slack is now in Discord.
Yeah, not to mention, like, I have people pinging me all the time in Discord chatting with me, which is great. Keep it up, people.
Thanks for the views, guys.
Yeah, I'm around.
Wait. BGP in chat goes, does
more?
Claude no longer do the podcast? It's been a while since I've listened, partially because I stopped playing LOL. Crazy to see Sheen back. I'm assuming it means Sean, but where has Sean ever gone?
Where? I mean, I've been
he
absent.
probably means me.
Oh, Shireen. I mean, that might make sense, right?
Were you always the Sheen in Trinity Force?
Apparently.
I mean,
Yes,
that-
Dom,
Sean's
you
always
were
been the
gone a
combined cost,
while.
right?
Hey, it's
Let's
weird
not
that
know
he brought up the Claude thing because we'll take a moment of silence. It's been a year today since the Claude's been off the show.
True. I miss that
So,
guy.
Yeah, I
Don't we all?
do too. Which is why I've been playing D&D with him, but I had to fucking skip out last night to do a research project.
Because you're the
I'm
worst.
sorry.
You're the
I am.
worst.
I was a piece of shit. Though I didn't sleep last night, so I got punished for it. It worked.
Congrats.
We all missed you, Claude.
So,
Yeah. fella.
Sean, you
Hey.
are the what man?
I mean, I'm whatever man you need me to be. Baby.
You're the blood man, maybe the run man, the fast
The
man,
wind boy.
the wind man.
The
Well,
bird
you know
man.
who this
Bird
guy is? He is the oat boy.
Oh, the oat boy.
And he writes, as a university
Is he your
student,
He's my long lost cousin.
as a university student, I tend to play League of Legends off and on with my friends. I haven't played since Aurelion Sol came out, but I've found myself with a bit of downtime and jump back in, but I feel out of it. Do you have any suggestions for players who have the basic foundations from past experience that are looking to get back into it? It feels like every item has changed in some way, and I'm relying on sites like Champion GG to have any idea on what I should be building.
Well, you're on the
Relying
right
on
track.
What? What'd you say?
I was
on the
gonna say
right track.
you're on the right track.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Just do what other people are doing or are having success with as far as building stuff goes. Because
Alright, alright.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is
That
relying on
is
Champion
true.
GG is fine for
people-
now.
If people are doing something, there is probably a reason that they are doing it. So, like, that's a good template for, hey,
It's a great
this is
starting
what
point.
you should be doing. But
I mean,
you
once
also have
you-
to figure out and you have to realize why they're doing it. Because if you don't know, it's not going to be nearly as effective. And that is going to probably come from experience unless you can have just somebody answer your question. So if you have a specific question.
My assumption, at least from the way I read this question, is that the person knew what to do at one point in time and understood how things were working, but because the game has changed so much since then, now I'm gonna maybe unfairly presume.
I mean, it says
now
boy in their
he-
name. You say
yeah.
he all you want.
now he, is kind of lost because, hey, guess what? Another season or half season worth of shit happened, and everything's changed again. To me, that suggests he'll know how to put it all together, but he just sort of feels at a loss right out of the bat. Honestly, I've had a couple other people ask me this, like on Twitter and that type of thing. You're only going to figure it out if you play. Like, you can read as much as you want. You can watch watch streamers or pros or whatever, but the only way you're really going to figure this stuff out is just play. So just play normals. Don't put any pressure on yourself to hop into rank if that was ever your thing. Just try.
If you go through every patch that you've missed out on, you're just gonna be so overwhelmed, and
Shit, this
you're,
game
you're
isn't
not gonna
even
want
the
to
same
play
game
the
it was a
game.
year and a half ago.
Like, what happened? What are all these new items? Yeah, just starting with
And the other
Champion
thing
GG is fine. Use that as a template. Jump into a game and then learn as you play. Pick up on the new items. Read what the new masteries do that you're taking,
I mean, and if you get the experience with the champion, like you'll pick things up. Like, hey, I'm in a certain matchup. Like this Swain example, I'm in a certain matchup where I'm going to be in fights way longer, so I don't want to get a Hex Tech like GPL. If the team's a bit squishier and I want that little extra burst to just pop somebody dead real quick, that might be the right way to go. If I'm against more tanks, I'm probably going to need more mana so I can last in fights longer with the extra mana from a Rod of Ages instead. Like there are things that like are going to be more matchup and game specific that might not be necessarily like showcased in a template like that from a website like Champion GG or something like that. So that comes down from just play experience, but I would definitely use one of those websites to start with if like you kind of have an idea, but you need some validation.
The other thing is that the skills you need to have to succeed in the game are pretty much the same as they've been since Season 3. Mm-hmm. You might need to further hone those skills, or maybe it's become necessary for people to hone them further as we've gone, as the game has grown. But the skill set that you had at any point in time, like you just need to get the rust off that so that you can sort of, like everything just feels like you're like it's second nature again.
Yes.
Because item builds are great and they amplify your play, but no matter what you do, like you doesn't matter what item you build, that's not going to make up for having or not having the skill.
Getting your play scope back is probably the most important part.
New slogan.
And it's still there. You haven't lost that.
Wait, come on. I know. I'm sorry, interrupting you.
No, you've been interrupting everybody. No one wants to hear your bullshit slogan.
Moo. Interrupting cow. Come on.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
You were interrupting dead air.
I can't decide if you're doing this on purpose or you're lagging or something.
No, I'm not lagging at all. I thought Punch was done with his point, and then he kept going, and I feel bad now.
No, you don't feel anything. You're a robot.
So, new slogan. Listen to the Trinity Force podcast. Now you're cooking with gas.
That's a terrible slogan, and you're just copying some bullshit that was funny 4 years ago.
When was that funny? When did we
ever
say that? You just said I'm copying something that was funny 4 years ago.
It sounds like the old
with
Super
thing.
Nintendo slogan. Now you're playing with power.
Yes, I love it. I want it more. Now
okay.
So if you're listening, you know what? He took the right step by listening to the Trinity Force podcast.
Oh my God.
That he did.
Oh, I am.
Boom! That's our new slogan. You've taken the right step.
We hate him as much
we've
as
become
you
a
do
cult.
right now.
I don't like this anymore.
We hate him as much as you do.
Your first step to victory is the Trinity Force podcast. I can do this all night. Let's go.
Nope.
Yeah, we know you can.
Nope.
Chat loves
it's nice
me.
having you guys listen.
Chat
we'll
loves
see you
me.
later.
They don't love me at all.
Porn stop, it hurts.
Losing Elo hurts. Listening to Trinity Force podcast does not.
Oh my God. If Mitch was here, he'd have walked off by now.
I got more of these. I can keep them going. Do you want me to keep firing them out?
Nope.
I'd rather have the Cluds puns. Good. And longtime listeners will know how much I hated those.
Man, I think there's going to be a riot. I like this. Listen to T-Force. Potent ego's out of control, and he'll die if you don't.
Well, that's always been true. Quickest way to watch Adam wither away like some fucking ego vampire.
Are we doing the last question, or was it a one and done?
I think it was a one and done for tonight. Because the other one, unfortunately, we didn't make it to it before the preseason and all that. Plus, top lane news sucks ass. I'm sorry.
Well, sorry, unnamed listener.
It sucks now. It used to be fun. Rip.
Whoa, Blood Gulch. That was too far. Trinity Force podcast, tons of filler. You know what? There's no fucking filler in this podcast. There's only potophobia.
The king of filler.
Like half filler.
All right. Well, we'll end it there, or else there might be more filler.
We have no more filler. There's no filler in this podcast.
You know what we do fill you full of? LP.
Oh, no. Oh,
no. This is still going.
This is the roughest.
You know what? That's what they all said in episode 400, Dom. But we're still here, and we're still cooking with gas. Guys, that's episode number 403 of the Trinity Force podcast. We'll see you all next week.
It's over.